Yeah, what an abrasive cutoff that was. Welcome to Discover Crypto Blockchain Basement. I'm coming from you from the home studio today, taking care of the children at their annual kind of 4-year-old checkup. This is the time frame. They're getting ready to go back to school. They're excited to see their friends, taking care of some business. Welcome one, welcome all to the show here today. Bitcoin has bounced back nicely over the weekend, but we woke up to more tariff chaos, more Trump crash outs. What are the key levels that we're going to be watching out for on Bitcoin in this recent rally? And how far can we expect to go with it? Also, a major warning from one of the doom and gloomers out there about a August Bitcoin curse. I want to know from you, are we cursed for downward price action in this month with Bitcoin and markets? There's some warnings going out there as the Trump Pocahontas crash out takes center stage. Welcome to the show, everyone. We got Pepe, K-Jam, DeFi Crypto, and airdrops down there in the chat. Be Wild, bring up Aether. I want to check out some Aether charts. We should check out some Aether charts today. But honestly, markets are looking pretty juicy. I woke up seeing some beautiful colors on the crypto landscapes, the fields, the pastures where the altcoins roam, where Bitcoin roams. We're at 0.94% on Bitcoin right now, but we are over $115,000 as we're going here, baby. Not too bad. And our bags were still there. Cardano at 75 cents in this it's really an interesting range between 70 and 80 cents for Cardano. Avalanche at 22 bucks. Mantle coming up here in the dark green. Good looking on Mantle. Pengu trying to make a comeback, and Ton receding back to the depths of which it came. You know what? Honestly, if you look at Ton's graph, though, Ton is one of the, I believe it's one of the better performing altcoins out there. Let's check out the all-time graph on this. Not a bad performance. Not a bad performance. You're coming in right about $3.39, all-time high here, or recent high rather, of June in 2024. But honestly, Ton does pretty good. So shout out, smash a like if your coin is in the green today. It's nice to see a little bit of relief. We've seen a little bit of action come to the markets over the weekend. I woke up this morning, rolled out of bed, and I chose long. I had so much going on. I had to do it, though. The market looked good. Where did I get in here? I got in at about 114.3. Got the stop loss set right under this current range, and we very well could lose it. Took some profits off, but just made a little bit of action happen for myself. Honestly, the Bitcoin graph told me the early this morning. On the daily, we're looking pretty juicy. We are looking pretty juicy on the daily, so let's go on over here, and we'll chart everything out before getting into the news. But boy, howdy, do I got a lot of stuff to get into today on the show. So Bitcoin, as I discussed last week. Ooh, let's see here. We got a little bit of let me check in on the daughters here. What's wrong, honey? You need any help? All right, bring it over to me. I'll help you. I got the daughters with me. Hold on. This is a moment. Let me help you. Let me help you. Let me give you a hand here. There you go, sweetheart. There you go. There you go. You can't quite see her. She's out of frame, but she's a cutie. All right, back to the graphs here. Now, I was talking exactly about the recent peak of this past pump in May of 2025 being a testing ground for support. What indeed did happen is our bags began to fall, and pain took over the market. Downward price action over the weekend. A nice dip, a nice pullback all the way down to this previous local peak high. Now we bounced aggressively off that moment. Things are looking pretty juicy. We got the bounce to the ounce, not doing too bad. But the daily is showing a green dot. It is showing the same trigger wave that I look for. It is showing that general momentum. It was real scary this weekend, though, watching that money flow coming all the way back down to center line. We got the trigger wave cooking now, and we are, in my opinion, now angling towards testing out and seeing how good this previous support now turned resistance is going to hold up against another attempt to break through it as what is now seen chart-wise as resistance here at about $117,000, 116.5. So that is where I think we're on track for. There is some, kind of turbulence going on in the markets. So we woke up to this Trump threatening to raise tariffs on India. Now, India, large piece of the macroeconomic trade puzzle for the United States, is they are a BRICS nation, right? China, Russia, India. These are a BRICS nation coalition, and in that, they're trying to set up an insular trade program to kind of push the American economy to the wayside to try to build out a generalized Asian union, right? Now, India has given signal to the United States that it's ready to kind of make a deal. It's interested. India is more so interested in the heavy consumerist economy and the ability to offload produced goods. Here in America, they're finding interest in that conversation. So Trump threatening to raise tariffs on India, we're going to see some tug and pull. We might even see some China input about this situation, because it has been something I've been looking at for a long time macroeconomically, is the strong potential of India wanting to step up and take China's place as the world leading producer. But there's a lot of infrastructural overhaul that they would have to do to get to that point. So the markets saw that news, didn't really get worried by it. They saw this as well. In just 6 months, Donald Trump put this out. He cut costs, especially energy and taxes, tremendously. Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren on CNBC said costs have gone up. She is just angry that I blew up her terrible presidential campaign. Call her out. So this is the morning Trump crash out. Thankfully, it wasn't anything major. Honestly, these crash outs really end up kind of being detrimental to the markets. The markets are looking good right now. I mean, the long is pumping. What are we at here? I think we got, go to miniature. This is a smaller trade here. Let's see what it's at. About 40%. Ooh, baby. Oh, baby. Let's roll. Markets are liking what he's saying here. Markets are liking the signals going out, even with the insanity that happened. You know what? We're going to rehash what happened on Friday, because they gloat about the statistics of the economy being better. Meanwhile, the statistics are found to be fraudulent, and then leadership within those statistic producing organizations quit and or are fired on the same day the falsified data comes out to be knowingly falsified. Absolutely crazy. The way that we talk about economy here in the United States is so far skewed. You wonder if they're even based in reality, or if they're knowingly making up in imagination land so that they can keep printing currency and kicking the can down the road. It really makes you wonder. Now, Mamo's going crazy. We're going to have to check out Mamo today on the show. Now, unemployment claims are on the rise in Washington, D.C. Another nod to the hat. I have seen a thinning of federal government workforce, which, you know what? I'm here for small government. Small government. I am for a small government, and I'm unapologetic for being so. DC jobless rates climb in 2025 while national average holds steady. So we're seeing more layoffs happen in the Washington, D.C. area. Very interesting. Maybe we'll see this continue to expand. Also, on the macro side, European Union will delay planned U.S. tariffs for 6 months. They're holding off on implementing a slew of tariffs on the United States for 6 months from now to allow trade talks to proceed with President Trump. So there is a lot of tug and pull. This is a situation that creates uncertainty and hesitation within markets that we know are going to do well, which gives us opportunity. Striking while the opportunity is hot is where the juice in this market can come from. If you can get low entry points in market scare off times and moments of uncertainty, take advantage of those, and then you can actually get much, much lower entry points on even vaporware. You could be buying the lows of vaporware, and then it rides a good amount upside because of everything else. All tides rise, all ships, right? A very similar situation happens time and time again in markets. So now we have this conversation. Trump is just kind of I got to cover all the because he is the KOL. Trump is the literal market KOL that I'm having to deal with in today's current situation. So Trump delivered a $22 billion ultimatum to Apple: bring production to America or pay the price. Apple refused, and Trump acted. What followed is a $60 billion power move. Former President Trump took to True Social to address the Apple CEO, Tim Cook. Message was unmistakable. expect their iPhones sold in the United States of America to be manufactured and built in the U.S., not India or anywhere else. Statement was firm ultimatum underscoring his stance on domestic manufacturing and economic policy. Trump trying to push more of that business that had left American shores back to the United States. We'll see if it pans out. This is something that we see happening in this current presidential administration, but you also got to think about, how long is that going to hold given the next election, right? Let's say Democrats take over and find a good candidate to lead up. I mean, there is a lot of concern that there's not going to be a good candidate from the Democrats, but hopefully reason prevails and they can provide a good candidate. And shout out to Mama Crypto. Good morning to you, Damons. Let's have a drink together. I have liquid death. I have liquid death as my drink of choice today. Let's see. All right. Now, this is the chaos that happened that set us on that downward spiral in terms of price this weekend. And again, I got to show the chart just to kind of tell the tale correctly. So prices really, really sliced like butter through the CME gap support. I mean, it was a cascade effect. I think, from tippy toe to tippy low here over the course of about 3 days, we dropped 6%. Not a massive crash, but it was a range that we were holding. We were trying to build this range for about 20, 25 days. And it was all on the cascading effect of this news, which is just so insane. So Trump had to fire the person who revised the jobs reports down by 258,000 jobs. He fired the person that had to revise it, and he is questioning the July numbers, if they're real or not, calling the 73,000 job number a shock, only to conclude by saying that Powell should be put out to pasture. So he's firing people. And then the Federal Reserve Governor, Kugler, resigns from the Fed board all on the same day. We have to think about this. So the Federal Reserve and the FOMC happened on Wednesday last week. They said, no, we're holding interest rates where they are. The economy seems fine. Jobs numbers are looking pretty good, you guys. The literal next day, they admit that the numbers were falsified. Trump fires the person that had to do the revision. He fires the person that had to do the revision. And then a Federal Reserve Governor Kugler resigned, all within that same amount of time. Obviously, large market participants took the news a little poorly, right? Obviously, they took the news a little bit poorly, and that was felt on the general chart. We'll go back to the chart here because this is what happens. This is the situation at hand. Is we fall by 6%, which I would actually expect a little bit larger of a fall, but it would just made structural sense to really bounce, at least get a dead cat bounce off 112K. So now you think about this, they are, cleaning up or at least getting out of the way of these falsified numbers. It'll be interesting to see. I do wonder where the Fed CME tool is sitting right now. I'm wondering how big of a shift this might have actually caused on September, October, and December rate cuts. Wow. 87% likelihood of 25 base points being cut in September. We move on here. So this expected to go down to 4.0. And then now we're expected 63% to be another 25 base point cut in October, and December, another 25 base point cut. So actually pretty heavy shift in towards markets taking rate cuts, seeing a little bit of risk on action going from that, as against reason as it may be. I think that actually be pretty bullish. But Robert Kiyosaki's out here warning us, you guys. Let me know if Robert Kiyosaki is right or wrong. Is he warning us and trying to save our bags from downward pressure, or is he trying to shake us out? Now, Robert Kiyosaki welcomed a Bitcoin dip below $90,000. Says he's ready to double down, calling it a Bitcoin August curse. Calling it a Bitcoin August curse and then a pullback, a major crash down to $90,000. Sensational, yes. Possible, also yes. Probable, no. I don't think that is probable. I want to know what your guys' opinion is. He's talking about a crash down to these levels. Come on over here and tell me, honey. All right, bring me some. Bring me it. I'll help you with it. A $90,000 zone. Let's take a look at what that actually look like. I mean, sentiment wise, altcoins would get cooked. Sentiment wise, altcoins would get absolutely cooked. If we fell down to this level, you would see altcoins return back to bear market accumulate. A lot of the smaller ones, and yes, they're doing good right now. We're starting to have a pretty good time since we bounced out of this kind of 75K zone. But we have to keep in mind that altcoins move so much more aggressively than Bitcoin. And, I kind of liken Robert Kiyosaki to a broken analog clock where it's right twice a day. Even if it's broken, a broken clock is right twice a day. So you got to keep that in mind. He's calling for major pullbacks. And you know what? With that mindset, I think you're going to be a winner anyways. I mean, maybe you'll be left out if you don't get that dip, but oftentimes markets do come back down to find equilibrium. Nothing goes up into the right forever. So I think he's wrong in the sense of the short term and the target and the specificity of this call. But I do like the mindset to be applied to just general entry points into crypto, because this type of warning, if it happens, he's going to be a goat, right? And if it doesn't happen, I was like, yeah, just another bear that was wrong. But honestly, it's right in the middle of these two shelves. I've seen crazier things happen. I've seen absolutely crazier things happen in Bitcoin price action before. So I'm not leaving it out of possibilities, but I'm going to be a pretty big buyer of not only Bitcoin, but a lot of my favorite altcoins. And I do want to know, I see you guys bringing up some interesting projects. I know all about Aerodrome, man. We've been covering, I'll take a look at Aero, but I see Relio bringing prod up here. Memo, definitely got to check out that Memo chart, and Kita. Those are two new projects that actually do have my attention. They've had some pretty strong market reactions, man. I mean, they are up and to the right. They're juicy movers here. So, God, this trade is going too good. This trade is going too good. Stop it. Let's take a look at this. This is a prediction from Follis. He's talking about Bitcoin. And this is supposed to be on July 28th. Something like this would be very nice. So let's make this a little bit bigger so we can see. This is our range that we were hoping would right around 117 there would hold. It did not. We cut through it like butter. And indeed, we came back down. I think he's actually highlighting that previous pump 2 moment shelf as well in the support line. Then looks like it came down right to it. And he was looking at the same thing and talking about this. You look like a genius, but honestly, if you just backed up on this graph and you notice that price action often does really well on the expansionary moments, but it usually comes back down to those OG pump 2 levels. Okay, those OG pump 2 levels. Honestly, like this one, just a little bit higher, but seeing something like 109 would make a whole hell of a lot of sense with this structure. So, I'm looking at this from a longer term standpoint. Obviously, these are daily candles. I mean, this is like the pico bottom of Bitcoin buying, and I hope you were there. I hope you were there buying Bitcoin in this dip. But this is a very institutionally controlled looking graph to me. This is generalized redip. You get banking crisis, things cool off, and then you get that next leg, a little dip, a little cool off. Japanese yen carry trade situation goes off. You get a 40K dip on Bitcoin right there. Pump. I mean, this is very, very institutionally driven. This is a staircase. This is a staircase to heaven. Honestly, for like waiting for huge dips or like the old school 4-year cycle approach to this market, this graph does show me reason of concern for trying to continue something like that. I'll take the logarithmic off here. This is very stair-steppy. And with that stair-steppiness, you get more stability in price action. It's not like these just parabolic movements. Oh, is Roomba messing with you, Remington? Roomba, come here. Oh, I got my big dog here. Come here, buddy. See, I'm working at home. You see him? He's like he's a Cane Corso mix type dog. He's not the 130-pound Cane Corsos you see sometimes, but he's a good boy. He's about 110 pounds. He's a good boy. So yeah, this is a very structurally oriented, up into the right market that I'm looking at right now. Like, this is not the hockey stick type zoomy moments, I mean, yes, if you're really backed up, it is, but this shelf that it built price action on Bitcoin for 6-7 months, we built price structure up for longer than we ever have at previous all-time highs, and then are now moving into this next market process. So, and this is including all of the macroeconomic weirdness that I just showed you, all of the nation states tugging and pulling at each other, and the keep your head down, concerned approach that these markets have seemingly taken for quite some time. The market is still looking like a staircase. This looks like a structural staircase to me. So this is actually, I just wanted to talk about this in a little bit more depth, because we've seen what a lot of people would expect to have been the blow off top, a diminished money flow into Bitcoin in aggregate, but multiple smaller peaks of it this cycle. Previously, you had essentially 3, but you really have to zoom in. And I think that what we're looking at here, I looked at this money flow structure that we're currently in and have been in since 2023, end of 2023. I feel like this structure actually is setting up to look a lot like something like this. I think that where we are currently is these preceding money flow bubbles, preceding bubbling of money flow. And I know that we've been up into the right already in terms of price. We got to think about the supply dynamics of Bitcoin and the level of interest that we're now seeing. I mean, we have BlackRock sitting on 600,000, Strategy with their 600,000, the US government sitting on 200,000 with a plan to buy another million coins, right? Like, the movement of the American government to go buy 1 million coins of Bitcoin. We only have, I think we're at like 19 or 20 million. We got to find out how many have been mined so far. I want to get the exact, how many BTC are left to mine. Let's get this answer, because we are running into this moment where we haven't seen approval of the U.S. government strategic reserve yet. We've seen ETFs approved and a absolute onslaught of influx into Bitcoin ETFs, right? So it's been very, very frothy. Shout out to you, Jagger. Thank you. You like the background of the show. This is my life. I got daughters around me, huge dogs. I am going to be moving from this place with a little bit of extra land into a place with a little bit less land. So I'm trying to decide like how many chickens I'm going to bring, all that stuff, where my trailer goes, all of those things. I'm in flux of it. Right behind me is a new floor. I've been doing new flooring. I put a lot of money into the house that I'm in. So, I really just want to kind of lean into it. It's been a process. Shout out to you, though. Let's see here. It's doing its data dive. I'll let it do its data. I know it's around like 19, 20 million are mined right now. So the supply squeeze is real. And the rollout of institutional level players in this is very real as well. So Winklevoss twins know what is coming for the United States. This is highlighting Project Crypto outlines a plan to crypto to power America's golden age. Cameron praises SEC's Project Crypto, and this is Paul Atkins. Now, Paul Atkins was on the board of Securitize previous to being put back in control, the chair position of the SEC. Let's go check out Securitize so you can see what I'm talking about here, you guys. They're telling us what they're going to do. They're telling us what they're going to do. So this is the leader in real world asset tokenization. Their story, let's go to it. So they fund tokenization, they invest in real world assets, structured products. They're working with Van Eck, Mantle, okay, Apollo. Important things to keep a note. Mantle with its obvious token, Van Eck with a pudgy penguin, PFP, all over the internet. Shillin Crypto, a major fund manager as well. It's a multi-trillion-dollar fund manager. Apollo. Now, Securitize, the board, I think, is something super interesting about them as well. We have to go into Where is their board at? How can I found their board before. Let's see, our story, maybe in our stories. Let's go here. Here it is. Let me know if you hear my daughter. She's singing in the background. It's super cute. So they have obviously the leadership team, lots of heavy hitters, a very technical team, but their advisory boards are where it gets really interesting. They have former CEO of Twitter, right? They have managing director of Barclays here. They have James Wallace, VP, Vice President of Central Bank Engagements at Ripple, right? And a Vice President of Blockchain at IBM. These people are very connected. We have Fannie Mae board member, Manolo Sanchez. Fannie Mae is like plugged into the $120 trillion real estate industry in the U.S. BVA and Compass. The board of this Securitize is so intriguing. And previous to Paul Atkins' now current position as the chair of the SEC, he was right in the mix with these big decision makers. So this is the type of stuff that matters. When I see the Winklevoss twins, they're giving their nod to Mr. Paul Atkins because they know that he is opening the door to literally tokenizing United States markets. Tens of trillions of dollars in these markets. What's being done right now is a test bed for the actual application of crypto, and hopefully, if you're holding the right one, private crypto companies being integrated in the overhaul of humanity as we know it. Now, it's a dual-edged sword. You're going to need a lot of power to get something like AI out. You're going to need a lot of AI to handle the amount of crypto application that can be done across the world. It's going to be a large build out. It's going to take decades. But as we sit right now, things are looking so green. And this is why, the altcoin shakeout, sure, it's been a little bit aggravating. We haven't seen that parabolic top yet, but the framework for what these altcoins can do has never been clearer. ETH has been looking pretty good. Just be careful if you're out there trading, right? Like I showed you, I got a trade in right now. When I started this trade, I keep essentially a 10% stop loss on it. I'm not betting out there. I'm not fighting with too many dollars, right? Enough that I'm willing to lose. I'm willing to fight with. I set the 10% stop loss, woke up, saw the market was hot. I get in, okay? But the moral of the story is I had a stop loss. It's important. Trader out here, smart trader, had over $11 million in unrealized profits yesterday, but didn't take the profits. Moments ago, ETH bounced above $3,660. He cut his losses and now is sitting on a $1.7 million loss. A $12.7 million swing from being up $11 million last night to being down $1.7 million this morning. Life comes at you quick. Stop losses are your friend. Riding bull market trends is also your friend. And the trend is your friend until the end. I think that was Frankie Cannells used to say that when I was sitting with him all the time there. But now, Brian Armstrong, Coinbase, their ad for the UK got banned. I played this on the show last week. I don't often play, especially, advertisements, but for Coinbase. But this is a very, very good ad calling out the cultural issues, the systemic financial issues that are burdening the average person in the United Kingdom. And it was promptly banned by the UK. By their TV networks, it looks like sparked quite a reaction. If you can't say it, then there must be a kernel of truth to it. Needing an update to the system and improving society is not a political statement on either party in the UK. Some have tried to turn it into this. It is not specific to the UK either. We ran ads similar to this theme in the US as well. It's a statement about how traditional finance systems are not working for many people and how crypto represents a way to improve that. Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? And if there's a reason for the United Kingdom and the government within it to ban a ad from a legitimate Coinbase is legitimate. It's a legitimate exchange. Banning the ad because it's calling out how jacked up your way of living for your average citizen has become. You got some real fiber level problems to work out there. So, just something to think about there. Something to think about. I think the approach to Bitcoin is worth fighting for. I feel like the right to transact is worth fighting for. And I feel like we are on the precipice. We're knocking on the door of this actually being a reality, to actually bringing some hard, based in physics value back to the US dollar. We don't know if the gold's there. Where's the gold? We don't know if the gold's there. We didn't get the audit. They didn't tell us if the gold is there or not. We literally don't know what's in Fort Knox. And the US dollar has been losing. It lost 11% of buying power in 1 year. So if you started off in 2024, in the middle of 2024 with $100,000, congratulations, a month ago, you got $88,000, right? That's how fast things are moving. Georgia needs to get with the Bitcoin program. Shout out to that. Absolutely. Can't go wrong with, people are thinking I should rent out the house. Maybe I should. It's such a low interest rate. Like 2.75, that's like a 30-year short on the dollar right there. Unbelievable. But yeah, if you apply the loss of buying power to your life, a lot of these, what people look at as risky investments, make a whole heck of a lot of sense, because the rate of inflation is getting exponentially worse. And so for me, I got to work hard out there. I got to be looking at the best stuff. And honestly, some of the best days ahead on these charts, Ethereum is really knocking on the door of those. Let's check out the chart on Ethereum, man. Let's check out the chart on Ethereum. There is just some essential levels that we have to break out of here on Ethereum. I am of the opinion that we are trying to knock on the door of all-time highs on Ethereum. That doorway clearly defined here. Clearly defined. So, as things sit right now, we're right there. We're eating up that sell-off. We're eating up the sell-off. The stochastic RSI is low on the daily. We bounced off the midpoint on the main point RSI there. Jesus. What's Bitcoin dominance look like? Let's take it. Are we going to get rich? Are we all going to get rich in a short amount of time? All because we hold altcoins that are made fun of for 3/4 of the time, and people are right for making fun of us for them. And then that 1 quarter, we're like, I ain't the underdog anymore. I outpaced you by 10x. I can feel it. I can feel it's coming. Now, good pullback from 2 or 3 weeks ago. Still holding strong. We did not V-shaped recovery off this bounce point. We expected this to be the bounce point at around 60.5%. So there is hope, ye. There is hope for ye. And the momentum wave moving to the downside, though you have a trigger wave there. This is a situation where you could be looking at a stubby boy head and shoulders pattern. This is what or a mushroom guy. This is what we could be seeing now. This is what we could be seeing on Bitcoin dominance. Now, where the dominance falls to, still the opinion it's going to hold up at around 50%. I think Bitcoin's going to hold stronger than we've ever seen it before. And that's by all means, with institutional adoption, we could just see kind of like a sleepwalk move to 70% Bitcoin dominance, which would be insane for altcoins. You better be holding some good ones. If this Bitcoin dominance graph starts to gain some steam again, that's where you got to think long and hard about if you're going to be holding those altcoins into another upsurge of Bitcoin dominance. There is no denying Bitcoin show. It's Bitcoin show. It's got the limelight. Let's see here. Oh, is Mamo cooking that much? Even if I didn't get the order in, it's okay, because we've been talking about Mamo since before it came out, and I want to do well by the people. I want to do well by you, man, because I'm doing good myself. You know what I mean? I'm doing good for myself. So don't you think that you owe me anything for that, man. I want to see my people's Mamo bags cooking to the moon. Unbelievable. Let's cook it to the Pluto stratosphere, bro. Let's go. Now, we got some movements on ETH. An address bought $105 million worth of Ethereum, purchased this from Galaxy Digital over the weekend, and staked it all with Figment. The address appears to be connected with SharpLink Gaming. SharpLink Gaming coming up. The name is rising. It's being whispered about in the back alleys, and it's helping Ethereum's price. And honestly, structurally, Ethereum is looking juicy, looking thick. Great pullback, beautiful bounce off a previous shelf here. Previous shelf, very nice hold up. Now on the daily, it is up. Let's see here. This is our daily candle. We are right around 5.6%. I mean, that ain't nothing to scoff at. A daily candle that's up by 5.6% ain't nothing to scoff at. And Ethereum is going to be hammering and trying to take out this resistance. Once it does, folks, I mean, all bets are off. Let's go look at the ETH dominance. I'm getting really excited looking at these charts. It's a good day when the charts excite me this much. Let me know if you get excited when you see upside in the future. Now, money flow was down bad. We are making a sharp return back to, even if we make it back to equilibrium. I mean, that is going to be you making it back to equilibrium in the money flow on Ethereum on the weekly dominance. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, old school levels, 20%. Kind of the shorter term target is around 14% for ETH dominance. This is getting very, very exciting. No, my God. Mamo's up 28. Oh, don't do this to me. Oh my God. The people out there, they'll all become rich. That's what happened. Oh my God. You become rich when you watch. I'm sorry. Good job. Returning, blasting past all-time highs. Unbelievable. Let's go to Trading View. We got to zoom in. We're stopping the show for a micro cap altcoin. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. So we're not past all-time highs. We got 18 cents, about 17.9 cents. But a good look. These are weekly charts, weekly candles here. Ate that bounce like a champ. Bounced off the original pump to moment like a perfect little crypto coin should. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. Good job, everybody. It's a good day. And Ethereum, it's looking like it's got some good days ahead of it too, baby. It's got some good days ahead of it. Now, these are the current kind of trend line that we're fighting right here, highlighted. This trader, Captain Parabolic, is kind of going a little bit nutty with it. He's going, and now we're starting to see XRP style graphs. And I just would warn that Ethereum crossing $1 trillion market cap this cycle is going to find extreme, massive resistance. And that would be right here at about $10,000 per token. So on Ethereum, yes, I think all systems are a go. I also think that tokenizing the amount of assets that the United States actually has within its economy is not something that we see done in a short amount of time. That being said, taking profits along the way as you invest early into these obvious infrastructural plays into the overall of humanity, don't be sorry about it. There is nothing wrong with taking profits in a market that is going up and to the right, folks. We are here to outpace inflation. We are here to get a bigger bang for our dollar. Now, going back to the trade, let's see where we're at. Still looking pretty decent. We're trying to build up some bounce points, some support up here to 115.2. Let's go check out liquidations. Check out how this is doing. Bam. Kind of drying up. People getting skittish. There's a little bit of juice in here. These are pockets of like $20-30 million on each one of those lines. Let's back this up. Ooh, big pole down here. About 60 million there. Probably a good like $100 million. But honestly, with Binance traders getting a little bit scared, a little bit sleepy. Let's go to Hyperliquid. Remy, let's calm down. It's not a cat. It's my daughter. She's jumping around on the couch. She made a fort for herself, and she is jumping around like a superhero. Hyperliquid, very wide bands. Hyperliquid doesn't really tell you much. Remy, hold on. Honey, come here. I don't know if I can get her. I don't know if I can get her. She's having too much fun. Absolutely crazy. Now, these crazy price predictions, I guess I just wanted to show this Ethereum graph to highlight and just remind people that $1 trillion market cap is massive. And to get to $2 trillion is very, very difficult. Now, Ethereum, I do think will get to that. Really, my conservative targets come in at like $600 to $800 billion market cap this cycle in this blow off top. $1 trillion, you're going to also see extreme selling pressure on. So when it comes to Ethereum, I think that it's still more tied to kind of the speculative altcoin sector. As the altcoin sector, they go up very hard and they go down very hard. Look, we got Memecoin up 34%. Mantle, which was just highlighted on I believe it's Securitize's website there, up 22%. Some serious things are going on right now. Say up 9%, but still got a downtick of about 8% on the week. There are some things afoot here, though. My goodness. Mantle is waking up in a very big way. Let's see here. What is going on with you? Mantle's a huge DeFi play, too. I mean, these are signals, canaries in the coal mine of the DeFi. I mean, I said it on the show last week. I don't think it really hit it. This is a government-sponsored institutional DeFi decade. That is what is being built out. And, getting positioned ahead of this, it seems like easy, but, I mean, you got to have conviction. You got to buy the lows. You got to hold them. And you got to believe in something. Now, some people in XRP, they believe in a little bit too much, I feel like the XRP army is looking for a little bit too much. This is Perplexity AI, an AI model that gives its price prediction for XRP in September of 2025. Recent weeks seen the token rebound, obviously from that 280 spot. Now it's messing around in the $3 zone. Congratulations, right? You bounced by 10%. You didn't die. Perplexity AI, though, known for blending real-time market data and historical analysis, expects September of 2025 to be a turning point for XRP. AI model forecasting a trading range of $6 to $9 if current market momentum continues. Right, such a move would equal a significant gain for current levels and set the stage for higher targets heading into year's end. Now, did I say this like I hate this? Like how do you know? Hold on, Philip. Wait a minute. Hold on. Stay where you are.
You are banned.
Hold on. Let's give you a nice timeout, like a nice 1 minute nappy poo. Right. I don't hate XRP. You disappoint me. It's not that I'm mad. I'm disappointed. There is market cap mathematics that you have to do with this type of outlook. I think $6 is accomplishable within the peak of this cycle. $9 targets are where people might be left kind of holding the bag, waiting for the target to hit. Right. Like when you have targets like this, when you have momentum in general crypto markets, because there's no denying crypto markets are up and to the right. XRP is probably over $3 again. Let's go look. Yeah, XRP is at $3.07, right? So it's come back over the $3 mark. It's still number 3 in terms of market cap size. A $6 XRP would be right at about $400 billion. So that's more than doubling. And if the market cap is able to double in a short amount of time, yes, that'll translate more directly to price, and that $3 mark would turn into a $6 mark because you just doubled the market cap. Whoa, crazy. Math is nuts. When I look at $10 predictions of XRP and a near $1 trillion market cap, I think even if Ripple pulls off all of the connections are true, this token, even if it continues to exist for the next 10 years, it's taking on banks. It's taking on trying to be a replacing intermediary for banks, which, those are like the biggest mobs on the planet, right? It's going to take a lot of cozying up. And yeah, the speculative chart looks good. in this chart, man, like I'm not going to be surprised to see XRP hit $6 this cycle. So I didn't think that the perplexity analysis was too far off. Now, September is only 1 month away, though. That's the deal. And I think we're going to be more of a slower grind. I think the tariff concerns and all this macroeconomic crash outs that we see coming from Trump once a week, they're giving this hesitation to the market that actually, kind of helps lengthen out the buildup time for it. It lengthens out a industry that I know is being implemented on institutional and government levels. And for me as an investor, that actually feels pretty darn good. That actually feels pretty darn good to see things extended and my ability to get in low kind of, creating more room, because you feel like when we know what's coming, you feel like you're missing out every dang day that you're sitting on more dirty fiat. Now, Chainlink is launching data streams for US equities and in ETFs. Chainlink is launching the literal data stream for the US equities and ETFs market, delivering that pricing, the real-time pricing for these tokenized RWA projects that are coming, that are being cleared the path for. And a lot of these RWA plays and a lot of these insiders, a great place to start looking at what the future of our financial world is literally going to look at. Go look at the board of directors of this company. Okay. Go look at them. Go look at their backgrounds. It's coming. It is absolutely coming. So, and even with this, I saw Ripple integrated with Chainlink. And, I think Ripple is going to be a strong stock. The stable coin is probably going to be what they use to go between those banks, of all those banking relationships and partnerships that Ripple's been building, because they got a lot. But they got a pretty good stable coin. It makes more sense for me if I'm running a bank to be like, yeah, I'm just going to use the stable. I'm not going to use XRP token. What is that? That thing, it goes up and down. I'm going to look at the stable coin because that's what I want on my books. Something that's stable, right? So that actually, for Ripple, I think will end up being pretty monetarily good. Chainlink, the token itself, is still being directly necessary for the CCIP protocol, which is very integral in the rollout of, what we know as Web 2, these systems, and what they mean by tokenizing into Web 3 through organizations like Securitize. A lot of that data can actually get there without Chainlink. That's why I like it. It's still a simplified conversation when it comes to Chainlink, because I don't want to get too lost in the weeds. People can absolutely get their wheels wrapped around 100 different protocols. But just looking at how things need to be built structurally really, really helps. Now, something crazy in the past year has been the rise of Murad and the Memecoin super cycle theory. Now, he's sitting up well on SPX. He's got $38 million worth of SPX 900 Giga Chad. It looks like he's got about 6.5 mil Retardio sitting on nearly $1 million of that. He's got a massive, massive bag. God, Mog. I remember Hannah brought up Mog and we started looking at it like $100,000 market cap. This thing is absolutely in a whole nother stratosphere since then. He's got imagine having this much amount of crypto and being able to sell any movements that he made on this wallet will send crescendo effects down these, not just these meme coins. If Murad sold, things would start unraveling quickly. So this Wolf of Crypto Streets just put it out. You think you have it hard. Murad is sitting on $50 million and he can never sell. What do you think in the chat? Is Murad going to start clipping things off? Because he's at good local highs. He's made it to the moon. He fell back down, and then he's made it to the moon again on these meme coin super cycle bags. Do you think he's going to sell? I want to know in the chat. +1 if yes, 2 if no, he's not going to sell. I want to know what you guys think. That's what a situation to be in. Now, not only, we see the framework for how crypto is going to be, utilized. We see the decent looking graphs. We see decent looking money flow. But also I see a consistent need for the U.S. government to print more currency. We saw a big chunk of that print through the big, beautiful bill, which has been approved to move forward. But a quick reminder of Mike Johnson and his call out that there's going to be 2 more spending bills coming to the United States. Here's Mr. Mike standing in front of one of his favorite walls, doing one of his favorite activities. Here, you do your own, I'll do me. Infinite money glitch here though, for anyone looking to make some bucks. A guy, Scott Barnett's talking about infinite money glitch, where you can buy a WNBA ticket for $29. Buy a blue item of human anatomy, max bet blue human anatomy object at $5,000, and then throw the human anatomy object onto the court. Profit of $69,959. Just if anyone would feel so inclined. Obviously, follow all local legislation and laws, of course. Now, we got some good entry points here. Bought 15,000 Cardano at 22 cents. That's a great buy. That's a good buy. You're 3.5x right now, even with prices being low. Think about that. No liquidity in memes though. They get locked in. Paper millionaires. That is something to keep in mind. It's like you would see. I want to put this comment out because I've seen a few buddies of mine. They made it to the millions on their wallet, on the Phantom wallet, but the liquidity wasn't there to pull. So there wasn't really anything there at the end of the tunnel there. That's what you got to be. You got to be finding projects with liquidity. You have to have juicy market participation, have good markets to sell into. And that's important to keep in mind when you put yourself in the mindset of a VC that's buying very, very cheap tokens very early. And they want to dump those tokens into a high liquidity environment so that the return is juicy. They have to have juice in the flow, so they wait for that liquidity to be thick before they start dumping it. And that's what we see the lifespan. A lot of these VC-backed coins, they've gotten shorter and shorter because people have started to understand the game a lot more clearly. But really, a lot of it's just the same stuff. They're just trying to dump the coins into a higher liquidity market. Is Ondo getting to $10 this cycle? I think so. I actually do think so. Let's go. I wonder if perspective is working for me here. I do want to talk about that because I was talking about XRP. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about a lot of the psyop that's happened to this market here, because a lot of people think that $6 XRP is out of hand to think about happening, right? A lot of people can't imagine Ethereum getting to nearly $10,000. But these markets move quick and they move violently. When Bitcoin, it's continuing to do its thing and likely will, in my opinion, perform to the lower 200s to upper $100,000 price range in this current cycle. But a lot of people forget how quickly these lower market cap projects move up when this vacuum of power continues to grow, doubles or triples at kind of those explosion design tops. A lot of people forget, man. And so when I look at this situation, if we continue to cook up to my generalized 8 trillion, lower end expectation, $6 trillion market, higher expectation, 8 to 10 trillion, but 8 is definitely high. That's a doubling of the market cap, and that's a huge concentration. But she's yelling because the dog was following her. Hoover, come here. Oh, you know what he's trying to do? He's trying to get him. Let him get him. Cheer him on, kids. He's gonna get him. I got a blue healer that he just chases everything. Oh, there's my daughter. Look at that. There's my nugget. He's got to get the bug. Give me a high five. Boom. So a lot of people are so beat down by this massive accumulation flatline stare that we've lived off of. This latest one that was a trade war cut into this one. This was not a flatline, but it was a range that was lost. The range tested previous highs and then moved up. A lot of people have gotten shook out over the length of time that it's taken for each one of these ranges to conclude. That's nearly a year, 245 days for that range. And then you get to this current range that we just barely broke out of. That was another 220 days. So people, in essence, looking back on this market, altcoin holders, they've had to deal with 450 days of painful ranges. And yes, you've had those moments where, oh my God, we're right. We're moving up again. We didn't do the wrong thing. We're doubling again. But it's just been a very maddening process that I think has caused a lot of people to forget how massive the moves are for these coins in the top 10 to 20, top 20 to 30. And as long as all they have to do is keep their lights on, keep the momentum going, keep the marketing going, and they're going to rise with the tide. So don't get shooken out, man. I know I'm just kind of ranting because, yeah, you can't spell crypto without cry. Yeah, that's what I've seen. There's a lot of what I see is crybabies out on the timeline here. We are at a flat line 52. We are completely neutral on the fear and greed. Altcoin season to Bitcoin season, damn near completely neutral as well. Bitcoin keeps chugging up and to the right. It's shaking off all of this trade war fear. The S&P 500 moving into new all-time high zones. Prices moving to new all-time highs. The cost of living is going to move to new all-time highs. The real collapse that I think Kiyosaki and a lot of people are looking for is a collapse to the upside. Let's talk about Ondo in this regard, right? So I just kind of gave my general thoughts on altcoins. Now, Ondo is well plugged in with BlackRock and a very, very interesting organization that I covered at the beginning of the show, Securitize, and the BIDL program in tokenizing literal U.S. treasuries. Now, the global market overview for U.S. treasuries is sitting at $24.8 billion. Been a very, very quick ascent, but there's a lot of regulatory clarity to get along the way. Now, the top players within this, you got BlackRock and the BIDL program at the top, the number one spot for all assets. Market cap, 2.4 billion, right? U.S. treasuries, kind of a big deal. You're tokenizing U.S. government debt. You're going to be looked at seriously, for good or for bad. If you're doing the wrong thing, you're going to be found. Ondo and the U.S. dollar yield, separate from that, another $500 million, right? Ondo's short-term government bond funds, just short of $1 billion. You have a lot of money that is being tested by major players, if not government players, through BlackRock, Ondo, and the BIDL program. It's a test bed for literally tokenizing the U.S. economy. Now, Ondo aims to tokenize Wall Street primarily, but it's got roped into this treasury system as well. So Ondo is currently at number 35 in terms of market cap size. I do think that not only is it going to rise with the aggregate tide, but I think that Ondo is actually going to end up competing within the top 20 to top 10 market cap projects. I do feel that way. Call me crazy. I do feel that way. I think it's cooked in to enough backroom board meetings, enough connections have been put together in my head, enough overlap with BlackRock where I actually think that this thing's going to be pushed in the top 10 to 20 of this cycle and probably going to have some live-in power beyond into next cycle. And right now, the top 10 is coming in at a $26 billion market cap. Number 20 is at a $8 billion market cap. So if we see a doubling of the general market, I'd see these numbers tripling up to singtupling. I think a 3 to 5x for these current market cap structures is actually what I'd be looking for. On the bottom end of that expectation comes at $8 billion market cap. So let's see a diminished expectation of rise. Then we see 8 billion go by 3. And then you're looking at 24, right? You're looking at an entry point for the being in the top 20 of all crypto. A minimum expectation is going to be in the $24 billion market cap. Now, that is a extremely diminished outlook, in my opinion. That's keeping things very, very tame. So then let's see what that would do in terms of price. So we got unlocks coming out. Let's see here. Not trillions. Jesus. So we got a 24 billion. I wonder why it's wobbling like that. And I believe we at least have to 3.4 by the end of the year. So that gets you to a $7 or a 6.5x from its current price, right? $7 per token. Now getting a better expectation of that, or a 5x from that 8, and you're looking more at like the 45, right? 45, 13.4, or a 13x from where it currently sits. So this is where I look, and I apply this same thought process, a diminished expectation. Let's say these top 10 to 20, they 3x, the top 10, they're able to 2 or 3x, right? Solana, let's take a look at Solana. Solana is currently at 90. It keeps this position in number 6, and we're able to rise and actually see that 2x from where it currently sits right now with a little bit of extra juice, get close to the 200 bill. I don't think that's going to look too bad for Solana either. I don't think that would look too bad for Solana. Let's go check it out. Let's go see. Obviously, Solana and its custom constantly increasing supply. So we definitely got to cook that forward. And we go down and look at what a $200 billion market cap would be. That's a doubling. That's 368, 122% from where it currently sits. Not a bad pull. Not a bad pull. SWE, let's do it. We're live firing. One more for you people, because I love you. And make sure you're supporting our channel partners, Bitcoin IRA, and Arculus. And not to mention, trade with me on LBank. If you want to get in on the trades with me, I wonder if the trade is still running as well. I've been covering so much stuff. SWE is a good one to ask about too, because SWE is a split between the same team that was trying to build out a Facebook dollar, or what was called the Libra token. SWE got in, the development team behind Libra got a little bit of hot water over this from Congress, primarily focused on Mark Zuckerberg. He disbanded the team. So then you ended up with SWE and then Aptos, two very interesting projects that have high levels of potential. Aptos, on the one hand, very intriguingly cooked in to the RWA sector. The RWA testbed actually has some pretty good presence from Aptos coming in here. The protocols have $500 million locked up on those protocols with 40 or 14 RWAs. Obviously, Ethereum's still like majorly in the lead, but it is intriguing to me, all these projects on the underside doing testbeds. Maybe Polygon will find its saving grace through these RWAs. So we have one side handled with Aptos, but the other, SWE, has been deemed the Solana killer, right? SWE at number 13 in total, but really number 11 in terms of size of crypto project. Now number 13, though, aiming for that number 6 Solana spot. SWE, if it just holds the line and stays near the top 10, that is something I'd be looking around the 120 up to 150 bill 120 to 150 billion dollar market cap range for being able to hold the line near the top 10 as markets continue to increase. So we will go look at what that would be for SWE. Now, SWE has some nuance to the tokenomics. If the token unlock schedule remains as should be, then the outlook is to have about 5 billion tokens out by Q1 of 2026. Okay, so this is a target of token unlocks by Q1 of 2026, where I just put this level up to. And that's if things remain as they should. Now, this is subject to change depending on network security. So there is a choice that can be made internally to the SWE protocol that instead of 5 billion at the start of 26, they could up it to 10 billion. Okay, so just so you know how these tokenomics work, this is very, very important to know. But let's say we're at 5 billion circulating supply, and SWE is able to hold the line and just accomplish and really something amazing. Just let's see, a breach of $100 billion market cap. I mean, that is a $21 per token level, or a 5.2x from where it currently sits. So serious SWE upside for SWE if it can hold near this top 10. This is a very aggressive top 10 to be fighting. And some of the more intriguing projects for me in this current very picky and choosy altcoin season are things that are plugged in. And it is kind of interesting to see Solana also on the RWA league table. Stellar Lumens, the ugly cousin of XRP, coming in here with 9 RWAs and $500 million in valuation there. Polygon, potential return of the Polygon monster arc could be boiled out of this RWA sector if they find success in it. Arbitrum, Algorand, even Avalanche, and Plume. Plume is the smallest market cap of all of these to be included in this. And this is where the high level of intrigue, the partnerships with Ondo and Plume, drive me to be an interested investor. So I hold some plume because I see some overlap in those sections. Yeah, and Polygon, it Flex to North is probably hitting it on the nail on the head there. Think American, right? Think American RWA application, because you have to think about the places that is being approved to move forward with. America and Paul Atkins, Friday. We are going to tokenize U.S. markets. They are literally saying what they're going to do. They're literally saying what they're going to do. So looking at these setups, these current test beds matter quite a bit. I hope all of you had a absolutely beautiful weekend. I'm spending it, enjoying it with my family. Aave, I'll do a deep dive on Aave tomorrow, but Aave is going to be a competitor for the next biggest bank on the planet. Aave is going to compete for the biggest bank on the planet position over the next, and now this is going to be private sector versus private / corporate / government. There's going to be one side of the table that is going to control trillions of dollars, and this is going to be government organizations, institutionals, and the private sector select that are chosen to go to those tables. And then the other side, you're going to have free market, right? And that's the beauty of crypto. We have the ability to have a free market. We live in America. We have the ability to have free speech, the right to defend ourselves with the two-way, the right to land, the right to freedom and prosperity. And I love and appreciate every single one of you. I hope you are out there taking advantage of that freedom that you got, baby. It's in you. You could do this, you guys. You just got to hold the line. You got to invest the lows. And with that, I bid you adieu.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.